Greetings and welcome. This is the ThaBadbrey Herbalist Asar of ThaBadbreyHerb.co.uk, and today I am going to give you the astrological weather report for London and surrounding counties. What I'm going to do is give you an overview of how the weather will actually manifest for the whole of this week. And by doing this, we look at the lunation chart. So, as I've explained in previous videos, when the moon changes phase, which is every 7 days or so, she has a great influence upon the way the weather actually manifests. All right. And she has that influence over the way the weather manifests for 7 days following the day on which she actually changes phase. As you can see, today is Wednesday, the 19th of April, 2017, and we just entered the last quarter moon at 10:56 a.m. during the hour of Mars. Now, in order to get an average overview of how the weather will actually manifest for the next 7 days in London and surrounding counties, we need to look at the signs which are on the angles. Now, the angles, otherwise known as the angular houses, are houses 1, 10, 7, and 4. So let's look at the sign on the cusp of the first house. The first house is over here, and the cusp of the first house is Cancer. Cancer is a cold and moist sign. And then the 10th house is over here, and the 10th house cusp is on Pisces. Pisces is a cold and moist sign. All right. And then over here, the 7th house cusp is Capricorn, and Capricorn is a cold and dry sign. And then down here, on the cusp of the 4th house, is Virgo, which is also a cold and dry sign. So this tells me that for the majority of this week, it's going to be slightly chilly, not as warm as it has been, and there's going to be a competition between the moistness and the dryness, yeah, as a result of having two testimonies for moistness over here in Cancer and Pisces, and two testimonies for dryness with Virgo and Capricorn. All right. Now, although it's going to be slightly chilly, and there's going to be a competition and alternation between the moistness and the dryness, as a result of where the sun actually is right now, being in his exaltation in Aries and just about to leave and go into Taurus, yeah, this indicates and gives a testimony that it's going to be slightly bright. You're going to get bright spells, and because Mercury is there, Mercury brings in the wind, and then Mercury as well as the sun, Mercury being combusted by the sun, and both Mercury and the sun being conjunct spontaneous Uranus. Spontaneous Uranus is known for bringing in bright spells and heat spikes. What we will get is bright spells and heat spikes and wind that will actually come in and clear the moisture every so often. All right. Also, the part of fortune, which is over here, this circle with a cross in it, is known as the part of fortune, which is an Arabic part. The part of fortune actually being in the same location as the sun, as well as Mercury, as well as spontaneous Uranus, being right up here in the 10th house, nearly on the cusp of the 11th house, tells me, yes, that it's likely that the weather will manifest. It's going to be slightly chilly. There's going to be alternation between moistness and dryness, and every so often, all of the moist and dryness in the form of clouds will be pushed away by Mercury and the sun. All right, throughout the whole of this week for the next 7 days or so. Now, I actually went through this and looked at exactly where the moon will be on each of the 7 days, and it looks like we're going to get, on average, the weather's just going to be slightly chilly, slightly moist, with some white clouds, and every so often the clouds will be blown away and you'll get some brightness coming in. The only thing is on, I think it's Saturday night, let me see. Yes, Saturday night, early Sunday morning, around 12 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, the moon actually makes a conjunction with Neptune. Neptune is known for being wet and moist. And Neptune being wet and moist, being inside Pisces, who is a cold and moist sign, and the moon actually making a conjunct with that planet, is likely to cause, it's likely that there could be some precipitation that could be formed. There could be some rainfall, there could be some slight showers taking place early Sunday morning. But other than that, it's just going to be slightly cold, slightly more chilly. So I'll say bring your jackets out. Don't wear heavy coats, but don't go out with no jacket whatsoever in London and surrounding counties. All right, because whenever the sun is blocked out, it's going to be slightly chilly, and when the sun comes out, it's going to be warmer. All right, and then on early Sunday morning, so if anybody is looking to go out and leave wherever they've gone out to around Sunday morning at 12 o'clock Sunday morning, it's likely that there could be some rain during the night. All right, and that is it. That is an overview for your weather this week for the next 7 days or so in London and surrounding counties. ThaBadbrey Herbalist Asar, ancient astrologer. Quick thing, gone.